Hi everybody, Mature Simmer here. So, just jumping in, a little bit unique video this time. I'm sharing another one of these small little development houses, something I've given a shot that I've really enjoyed, and so at really kind of the first review information video I've ever really done on the channel on a product. But I'm thinking this one might be an outlier enough that people might not be aware of it. They didn't give me this. I paid for this with my own money. This is not like an endorsed video or anything like that. This is just my opinion as someone who enjoys Sims. Kishmish is the studio. I think it was like $5.99 on sale. I think it's half off because I think it's normally $12. Because I love Flight and I've enjoyed Flight Sim and whatever, this one attracted my attention. And so really basically play is what you're talking about. And so you can see you've got a tutorial. You've got this thing called Discover the World. It says it's new. I don't know when it was introduced. The game itself is actually from May 2023. That's the date. It's listed on Steam. So it's gone through a few iterations. And it looks like in February 2025, they're basically going to have their first big upgrade. I think it's going to be a paid DLC or something that you can buy. It's the first thing that's available. And they're basically going to break out the United States into states, which is something they don't do for the other countries. But the thing that was really interesting to me, I always love Sims that give me that opportunity to just continue to play. So you can build custom scenarios, you can do free play, you have scenarios, and you have this thing called Discover the World. So I'm going to start over here at the far right. So if we go to custom scenarios, you can see, there aren't a ton. Well, I shouldn't say there aren't a ton because this is one page out of 185, and then there's two, so there's probably a few thousand. But you can see, people are actively doing it. Again, European dates, so keep in mind this would be, 12/7, 12/9, December 9th, December, so not sure how they're sorted. Actually, it tells me right there it's sorted by popular. But there you go, like I can do newest, and so you can see there's some, this is the 12th of December. There are people doing that, and so there's a rating, and then this is, in theory, the difficulty. I don't know private listing. I don't know why I see it. This is not me, but this is one that I did poke around with a little bit just to test how this works. Then you can favorite things, and then you can actually develop scenarios yourself. I'm not going to get into that at this point. If I do poke around with it and start working on scenarios on my own and I get more familiar with it, I'll certainly expand on it. But I do know there's a lot more detail here. But you can see you can do difficulty 1 to 5, and that's the number of planes. But you've got information, you've got parameters, you can do timelines. But on the parameters, there's like a lot of stuff. And you can see there's just a lot of settings, first level plane speed. So it's going to take some figuring to try to figure out what might be happening here. And some of it's just going to be getting familiar with how the sim works itself. Free plays, an interesting concept as well. So basically classic mode is just a free game, as you can see. You just develop and you can play. And basically classic mode will run with these capabilities. But the way you unlock these capabilities, so you can see I'm at 3 of 25 for the capacity of level 1 to 3 aircraft. And so now they're +6, +9, +12. You can do the math. So they're normally 20, 50, and 100. And then there's level 4 through 6, and then airports go from 1 to 10. You've got aircraft speed, ticket prices, initial amount of money, reduction of fines for overcrowded airports. The way you basically get these is you play in ladder mode. And so ladder mode starts with level 1. So you can see I've gotten myself to level 7. Each level, this is the amount of territories. I assume it continues on this way. I don't know that it does. I was thinking these bars were 5, but I've clearly done level 6, and I don't really see another bar, so I'm not sure Because again, I haven't counted. Well, I guess the math is right here. There's in theory 200. So in theory, I could get to level 200 to unlock all of these items, which I think would be nuts when you're trying to get even 100 territories. And I will show the game in this review and so forth, so you'll get to see what it is, but I want to give you all the options available. Basically, you just need to unlock the number of countries, and then it gives you 2 of these randomly, and then you pick which one you want. So you can see I've done initial amounts of money and level 1 to 3 aircraft. I think I've gotten reduction of fines for overcrowded airports a few times. That is, it's not a low number by default. It's 30%. I mean, you're cutting 30% of your income off, so it's not nothing. And I assume you're just going to lower it by 1% each time. So you're still going to probably have a 5% penalty if you do it all. But basically, classic mode doesn't let you unlock any of this that I've seen. It literally just throws you in, and I think that's the way the game ran first, where it was just kind of a sandbox, and then they started adding scenarios in this Discover the World. As you can see, scenario mode offers lots of interesting scenarios, each with unique situations and win conditions. So you've got regular scenarios, you have daily scenarios that you can go through, and you can see, here are the top 10. We've got 19 hours, it just went through and did that. And you can see I've gotten through a couple here. So I've done Europe and I've done the hurricane. And so basically they have criteria. So in this one in Europe, for example, you just basically had to survive. You're starting in France, and then I add other things, but you have to make it till the end of the timer, which I think was 20 or 25 minutes. Similarly, in hurricane, basically what ended up happening is certain airports would go offline because of storm conditions or something. And it also had situations where certain airports that I had upgraded, meaning I could take more passengers at one time, were shrunk back down because they took damage, and basically they suddenly couldn't hold 100 visitors. They could only hold 50 again, and I would have to re-upgrade them. And so there's, a good amount of these, 3 per, so I don't know, 12, 15. Then there's these quick ones. Again, I haven't tried anything but the regular, and then the extreme, again, there's about 7 of them, but I assume they're challenging, and it looks like they're locked in sequence, just like quick, where here for regular, I guess I do have to go through them in order. I don't know that I was really watching that. I just happened to, because I figured they got more and more difficult. But these are nice. They're just kind of set up, and it's like, hey, try to meet this criteria. And then you're always scored. So you can see, I got 30,000 there. And then on Hurricane, I got 8,000. So I did a little bit better. But it also depends. Now again, when I look at scores like 3 billion, I think the scenario is only like 20 minutes long. I don't understand if there's maybe some cheats happening here that I'm not aware of, or because you can do mods and things with custom scenarios, and so I don't know, maybe people were getting in and doing something a little nuts. So that gets you through all the stuff, but the custom scenarios kind of gives you the longevity. And then Discover the World is basically the standard mode, and what it does, if you don't do random first territory, you're starting in Germany all the time. I was assuming they're a Russian development house just because of that, but again, and maybe it's because Russia is gigantic, and the way the game works in that case would be a little nuts, so they don't do that. But let's go in here to custom scenarios, and I'll show you South Africa. So we're going to pick this, and it says it's difficulty 1. I would disagree. It is nuts. So you've got the country, and so you can see it opens airports, and again, this is within their scenario. This is not always what happens. And you're connecting one to the other. I don't know why it's doing that to me. All right, and then you're just doing that. So this may actually work better, because when I did it before, it connected me to Antarctica, so you can see I've got to open up Zimbabwe in 5.5 minutes. So that's one of the criteria for this scenario. So if I go to Zimbabwe, you can see I need 453 monies to go ahead and do that. All right, and this is not how the game normally works. I don't know that I'm even going to go 5 minutes here, but you can see, so you've got airports. You can then upgrade them. I can see the capacity is 50 down here, so a level 1 airport is 50, a level 2 is 100. Level 1 plane does 20, if you remember, again, in the regular scenario. If I upgrade, it will take me to 50. You can sell the plane. If you click on the route, you can buy planes directly. You can upgrade all the planes. You've also got these capabilities where it's giving you general information. You can work with the cities, and these are clickable, so you could work from this interface when it gets crazy busy too, and say, wow, my planes are packed. Or my airports are packed, you know, because if I go here to my planes, like I could say, oh, I want to upgrade my plane. So there's multiple ways you can interact with this. You can speed it up one level, and so, you know, kind of what you want to do then is you also want to obviously build routes so that, you know, like let's say people want to get to Mathatha, they don't always have to just keep connecting. Like if you can afford to go places, and there will be events and random things that happen and so forth. See, and there's nothing that stops me from, say, buying Lesotho and getting access to that, but obviously I need 400 monies to get to Botswana. So basically this is opening a city every 30 seconds, which is really fast and really uncommon. And so I'm going to go ahead now. See, now you can see I'm 147. I can leave it this way, and as things get busier or start delivering, like it'll suddenly open up and I'll be okay. So I'm going to go ahead. There you go. And now I got that route. And so where you drag it from and to, that's going to be the way the plane goes first. So it's probably better to go the other way, because there's likely people, well, there's no one waiting for Queenstown here, but so this is where you can kind of see things. And there you go. You got Grahamstown in between, but I don't even have enough for that. But this kind of gives you an idea of what a custom scenario is. But the key thing to understand is these are real cities, and they operate in the background with the real populations. Again, I don't know where the database was operated from or whatever, but they're real cities kind of in the real locations. So when it gives you a country, especially like when you're doing the free play and you're doing the ladder mode, you know, it'll go ahead and... So I'm going to use ladder mode to demo, because Discover the World just basically gives you the country, and you have to buy a country, as it says, every 6 minutes, and it tells you which country you want to go with. You know, the reason this becomes hard is, like, they might give you Russia, and then the problem becomes, like, things can fill out pretty crazy fast. So we're going to go ahead and free play, and that way I'll get one other thing. And so I'll do that as my demo. And so it's going to pick a random country. Oh, interesting. Was I not done with? Wait. Okay, this is the network I built before. So this I've never seen, so I wonder if it goes back to another... But no, it's telling me I need 5 territories. This is strange. All right. Either way, I'm gonna continue here, because this is like my 6. This is where I was with my 6. Well, all right. Let me go back here. Yeah, because I didn't do restart. I want to do level 7. I wonder if I hit some kind of a bug. Okay, well, see, now it's telling me territories left 6. So that's what I'd expect to see. So you can see now things change from green to yellow to orange to red. Basically, the game will end when an airport is overcrowded. So here's an event. Olympics are being held in Aruba. The number of passengers looking to fly there is 3 times larger for a week. A week is basically 6 minutes long. So you can see that. So think of it as not quite a minute a day. But here you can see orange plane, pretty full. So in theory, I might want to upgrade the plane, but I have the challenge of, okay, so we have ore instead, so some of this is not working the way I would think, but let's see, we'll do that. So Aruba is where those Olympics are. And basically, once I get 7 countries, and so the nice thing up here, I loved it when they gave me this for 6, because each of these is a country. So, and you'll notice I'm clicking on Grenada and Barbados. I can't do it. You have to border it. So, I'm going to need 4,000 or 5,000. But basically, let's see. Yeah, this is... So I've never had it start in a country I've been in. So this is interesting. Because I've done... They've had me in India. They had me a lot over here. So, like, my first one was Thailand. I didn't know anything about Thailand, and it was bringing up these cities. I knew certain things like Bangkok and whatever. But I literally brought up a map of Thailand, and this, like, Phuket was down here. Like, it is using the real towns basically in a real location for the most part. And, so it's really cool the way they do things. And again, I do not know how detailed the database is, but you can see here in Venezuela, like, there's a lot of cities. And again, like Caracas, obviously, La Asuncion, I've heard of. I'm sure, we've all heard of some of them. But, and the benefit is now that there's 3 times the... I think it's 3 times the people want to go there. So, let's see. All right, well, because we got the green here. So, and again, you can't see on a plane that I know of where the passengers are. So you can see now we're down to about half of the week is already gone. And you got to be careful because sometimes the events cost you money. But there is complexity here, so now again, if I look at this, like this gives you a better example now that we've got more stuff here. So that, it's a level 2 airport, it's 100, I don't have any level 3 airports. These are my top cities by load, by popularity, if I have any that aren't connected. And then it's showing you the routes, so I've got all these routes, here are my most profitable routes. And then again, the planes. So like here, I can see, Calabozo to Caracas, pretty full. I mean, none of them are insane, but I have this plane here, Caracas to Guyana, that I've already gotten up to the larger one. And again, because I'm in this free play mode, I've got the bonus, so it's 59 instead of 50, which is, a big, it's almost a 20% jump with what I have already. So there's Caracas to Barcelona. And basically, if a plane's being red, you'll want to keep an eye on it. But in this case, what you're just trying to do is you can't have an airport get filled up. So Caracas is getting pretty busy. So, the red plane left, so it may be full or close to. It is totally full. And again, it could be because it's going there, and this is where it becomes challenging. So there we go. Now we have El Dorado. And you don't want to leave places not connected for too long. And you're trying to make that type of network like you would if you were running an aircraft company. So that, in a nutshell, that's what this sim does. I don't know that I'm really going to honestly be able to get very far. Alright, so I've gone ahead and just continued on, gotten where I think I'm far enough. I only need 5 territories, so we're just going to buy these. 3, 4, and 5. And there we go. Level 7 is complete. So now you can see, now I've got a parameter, so I can do reduction in fines, or I can increase ticket prices. I would think increasing ticket prices of those two will be better. I think reduction in fines is the last thing I want to worry about. So there you go. So now my goal is level 8. Alright, and now I started it just to see, but now this is what it looks like normally. So I'm just not sure if it puts me back in other countries, if it'll remember what I had. But now once again, I've got ticket prices, so that, and then in this mode, I'm always getting that benefit, but it doesn't work that way in other modes. Let's do a little bit of Discover the World, just so you see how it works. Alright, so in this case, there we go. I upgraded Nuremberg very quickly. And so this just gives you a quick example instead of building up from scratch. But I've got a few countries, So again, things are flying out. And again, I need to get to Castle. So I'm going to do that. And that will help. And then if I do that, that will help, because there's lots of planes that need to get to Castle, because that's the new town that got added when I stopped. And you can see, I have almost 11 minutes to unlock Sweden. But what ends up happening is exactly what you see here. Alright, how is Nuremberg full again? Oh, I see. Alright. So what I need to do is I need to upgrade the plane, is what I need to do, because I have so many people going there, and my guess is they're not going anywhere else. It's just Nuremberg got so busy. So there we go. Now we're going to upgrade the plane, and now it'll carry 50 people. So when we go here, now Castle will drop down. There we go. And now we really didn't need that big of an airport, but we have it. But the thing is, there will be people in Frankfurt or in Vienna or whatever. Like, there may be people that want to get to Castle. Now, what could have been happening is likely everybody was coming nearby. I don't know how the algorithm works, but this countdown doesn't happen in the free play scenarios, the ladder scenarios. I instead just get penalized. But you don't, to my knowledge, you don't die with what's happening. Now, I'm curious what we're running into here. Because, see, we're very full, but it's obviously not... It's just not obvious where they're wanting to go. See, but like there's 6 that want to go to Berlin, but I have no direct flight to Berlin. I don't know why Castle is so popular, but I'm gonna... Okay, so Oktoberfest is being held in Munich. The number of passengers will increase. So I'm gonna increase Castle there, and then... Oh no, so they're... Oh, that's just going to Dresden. So, never mind. I want to increase this plane. But that's what you're doing, and then again, I need to upgrade Sweden, but what I was going to explain while it kept yelling at me and disturbing me, so there you go, a new airport's open in Rostock. Now what you can do is, like, again, you can add planes on these routes, or in this case, what I'm going to do is I'm going to sell this route, and I am now going to kind of change my network a little bit. Because Rostock is here, and instead of from Nuremberg going directly, I'll now go to Rostock, and that'll get me closer. Hamburg really wants to be upgraded, so we're just gonna do it because it keeps getting in trouble. Same thing with, I think, Dusseldorf. Yeah, he's small enough. And so what you end up doing is you end up really building a lot of, you want backups, because in some cases you're going to have scenarios where suddenly an airport is shut down. again, for a week, for 6 minutes. Well, if everybody wants to, let's say Berlin, God forbid, got shut down. That's my big one. Frankfurt's pretty big too. But like these outskirt ones right now are not. And so again, like it told me I started in Germany. I think I then had to go to Denmark. Then I think it had me, or no, I think it had me do Austria first, then Denmark, then Czech Republic, then Slovakia, then the Netherlands, and then Slovenia. And then, but if you buy them early, it still gives you that 6 minutes. So that's how I had 11 minutes into Sweden. So again, Vienna's running tight. We'll expand it. And I believe these circles are how many things we have coming in. All right, so there were 14 that want to go to Munich. And again, this is going to Nuremberg. I don't think I have a direct to Munich, but what ends up happening is the people from Hanover that are going to Munich will still take the plane to Nuremberg, is what's going on. And so what I want to do here, again, is upgrade that plane because it's running pretty full all the time. Similarly, that one's totally full, 20 of 20. Nuremberg to Munich, again, part of it is it's Oktoberfest. So, okay, so now let's see, Graz showed up, and I didn't see that, and it is full of people. And now, like, literally everybody's gonna go there because it's like they just want to get out of town. But, not that many necessarily want to go to Vienna. Now, why all those people flew from Vienna to there, I don't know, unless there was this high demand for Graz. And so it could be, so there, now we got one in Košice, so it's on the other side here. So, and this is where it gets challenging. Alright, I'm going to upgrade Frankfurt, because there's a lot of connections in Frankfurt, let's be honest. And that's the challenge, sometimes you're doing that kind of stuff. Alright, it's Berlin's small too, so is Frankfurt, are they both? Yeah, they're both at 300, so they should be good. But basically, everyone that wants to go to Košice, and then again, everyone from Košice that wants to go anywhere is going to have to go through Bratislava. And then the issue is Bratislava is just connected right now to 4 airports, which might be fine. But you kind of monitor that and see what's happening. But this is a good example because, again, things were showing up in Germany, so it's kind of hard. I guess these were in Austria. Graz is in Austria. But, like, it will add things into countries you have. So when you have a big country like Sweden, like, suddenly I could get a city over here that opens, and I've only got 1,000 monies, and that might not allow me to get a route. And so you do buy a little bit of time because, again, an airport by default is 50. So you could let it sit and just let the demand build for a little bit, and then you get a couple planes out, and you're okay. Because the other thing you can do is, like, let's say, let's look at a route here. Okay, so Prague to Berlin. So I can buy a new plane, and we're just going to go ahead and put a big plane. Now I have 2 planes on there. And that the bigger planes also fly faster. Not only are they, and so again, like, this was full, but this is even still almost full. It's 52 people. But now we've probably taken everybody, but now the problem becomes, now Prague can start getting overloaded because now I've got these big planes showing up with lots of people that are hanging around inside my airport. So this is, kind of what you're doing, but this is then where you've got to be careful. See, and I'm running out of time on Sweden, and you just can't control and discover the world what it's going to give you. And it costs a little bit more each time. So we're going to update Sweden. See, in here now it just gives me Stockholm. Okay, so an urban blogger posted a review about Munich. He really liked it, and now Munich is going to increase again. So it just had Oktoberfest, and now it's going to have other things. It isn't, as far as I can tell, any cheaper to buy a bigger plane, to buy the level 2 plane, or level 3 plane right away, because I think it would be the same amount to upgrade. I could be wrong. I don't know. Like, let's see. Well, because, yeah, so I'm doing it for 300, so basically, yeah, I guess in theory it is a little cheaper if you can afford it right away. See, but then again, you wanna build these networks so that the path optimization doesn't overload. You know, and like what might be really nice is, you know, getting a long distance route there, but the problem is, you know, that's 500, and it's going to take a long time for a plane to get back and forth. So a plane with 20 people, that's probably not a great route for long distance. You're going to want to fly bigger planes and things like that. But you can see Norway, again, it gave me 6 minutes on top, but again, now we're giving Norway, where it could have given us Luxembourg. That would have been wonderful. But see, the problem ends up like, what if it gives me some city way up here? And so if you know Sweden, like you'll know Gothenburg and Stockholm, like I do know those cities. Copenhagen's almost full because now it's a hub, and it's only at 50. So, you know, Bratislava's getting close. It's also at 50. So I think you get the idea. It's a pretty long review first look, but here on the stats, so you can see, you've got 200 countries. We've discovered 10 of them. You've got 26 scenarios. Again, 200 countries in free play. And then the collection, I guess, is the only thing we hadn't talked about. Basically, you get 5 stamps in different areas of the world. And so I've collected 3 of them. So basically in all the continents, I think except Antarctica, you've got 5 stamps. So you're going to have Europe, you're going to have Asia, you're going to have North America, and so forth. Overall, I mean, part of why I wanted to share this, because my hesitation with picking this up is there are games like this, like network games, that you can just do on your mobile phone. And obviously you don't have to pay for them. And I'm like, is this just a glorified version of that? And it's just, you know, I'm playing it on the PC, and that's it. But there's so much depth to, you know, again, you can upgrade all your planes together, you can do whatever. Like there's just a ton of replayability, especially with the fact that you have custom scenarios. So that is why I highly recommend this to folks. This one's unique, and again, if you can pick it up on sale like I did at 50% off, $6, half the price of probably a movie ticket for most places in the country. You know, I've already had 4 or 5 hours of fun, and I'm 4% done with the potential things I can do. So this is one that is drawing me back often. I've spent, you know, 4 or 5 hours in it already in just 2 or 3 days, because it's just simple enough, and it's very similar to those mini games that I also enjoyed, but it has that added business aspect to it. So I would encourage you to take a look at it if you have any interest in things like that. And yes, these are planes instead of trains or whatever, but you know, you can think of it the same way. You're connecting cities with some form of transportation. It just happens to be planes. So you know, if you're a train aficionado, this would still work for you. It's just, you know, ignore the fact that they're not trains, they're planes, but tons of fun. So I'd highly encourage you to take a peek at it at least. Hopefully this has been useful and helpful. Don't know that this is anything that I'm regularly going to do. I mean, I'm not looking to suddenly be buying a bunch of things, but this was unique enough that I'm like, you know what? I'm just going to share this as a recommendation to folks to really take a good hard look at. So that is it. As always, if you've enjoyed this, haven't dropped a like, or are not a subscriber to the channel, please consider those things, and I will see you next time.